said, "That's not a hippo. That's my wife." You ready to do this?
All right, let's get her cooking.
All right, you take your meds?
Yes, of course.
All your meds?
Yes, that's you, Will.
Oh, yeah. Uh, sorry
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
Let's get this
Let's
done.
do this.
Boom.
Yep.
Welcome to the newly renovated Rico's Pool Hall, Tattoo Parlor, and Liver Lounge. I'm Will Green,
And I'm D. Scott Graham.
and we thank you for joining us today on Oh My Liver.
A podcast about friendship, cirrhosis, and everything in between. We're in this together. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Oh My Liver.
Yay!
Yay! We're so glad you're here. We're happy to have you. Really looking forward to some good conversation, some fun time. You know, just because we have serious stuff happening doesn't mean that we have to be all serious all the time. And Will and I are working at trying to keep a positive attitude and outlook in life. And we're happy to have you along for the ride. So, thank you for joining us. We're going to get started. We'll just sort of, give you a little background on each of us and talk about how we sort of came to be here and how we know each other and how we've been not talking for what, 30 years, Will? Something like that?
35 years.
35. Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Hey, gotta put it in there, man.
Yeah. Um, so we'll talk about that. And so, yeah, go ahead, Will. Give us a little background about, like, how you got here and life and that 35 years in between the last time we saw each other.
First of all, I'm gonna say Scott is absolutely incredible. My
Oh, well,
co-host
back at you,
here,
brother, buddy.
no. This man is brilliant. I'm more. I go by Will Green, which is like Charlie Brown. So, Scott is off the chain brilliant, and I got a rock. So first of all, I'm gonna throw that out to him. Second of all,
By the
I'm
way,
sure
everybody. This is an ongoing conversation between Will and I am constantly giving him pushback. I am nowhere near brilliant. I am around brilliant people all the time, and I am nowhere near brilliant.
Scott and I met in '85,
Yeah, that
somewhere in
sounds
that
about right.
area.
Yeah.
He went to one high school, I went to another, and we were two of the best actors that this theater in Winter Haven had ever seen for our age. Now, other people may disagree with you, but me and Scott are going to tell you that's the way it was. We were, Scott's got so many more talents than I do. I'm an incredible actor. Scott is an incredible actor. If you see us perform together, you would just fall out of your chair. And that's not being modest, that's being truthful. So we have these friends. I mean, when I say we, I mean universally we, that
Right. It
we
was sort
haven't
of a,
seen.
a crew of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then, if you're on your Facebook sometime and you've like saved friends from elementary school or high school or even junior high school and all that, then all of a sudden they want to talk, after like 40 years. I'm not one of those people. What do I say? What am I going to say to these people? Whatever.
Yeah, it's
Well,
more nerve-wracking for you.
yeah. If you will notice, I am an extrovert. My job is going to be to try to make you laugh and understand that we're all in this together. Scott's too, you know, even though Scott's more technical than I am. So I don't usually, when a friend of that I haven't talked to in that many years says, "Hey, call me," I go, "Yeah, have a nice day." But back in February, I was diagnosed with cirrhosis. which has quickly turned into end stage liver disease. And now I have ascites, and for those who don't know what ascites is, it's fluid building up in my abdominal cavity and on the right side mainly, and behind my right lung. So fluid is always having to be removed.
which we should point out to everyone is actually even a little more serious, the fluid in your chest cavity than just in your abdomen. I mean, both are not good and pretty serious, but
Oh yeah,
where Will's been experiencing it has been it's been a real challenge for him.
yeah. So one day, I mean, I post in everything. Speaking of that, on the web page there is a GoFundMe page if you would like to help out some. But second of all, I post things, hey, I'm in the hospital again. Hey, I'm out of the hospital. I'm back in the hospital. And one day Scott said, hey, I've got the same thing. Call me. Now, here's a guy that I performed with. And if anybody that's ever performed with me knows, we're family. We got along. We were family.
Right, you
So
go
I
through a
called.
lot together in a show.
Oh, yes, you do. So I called him up, and God, how many hours did we talk that night? 4 or 5
God,
hours.
it was 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
And at the end of it, I said, hey, you ever think about doing a podcast about this? Because I, me personally, and Scott's slightly different, um, I want people to know that they're not alone. I want people to laugh and smile and, you know, hey, we're in this together. There's nothing we can do. We might as well laugh. We might as well do this. And not every case of cirrhosis or liver disease or whatever is the same.
Exactly.
Scott's got a couple of things. What do you have, Scott? What are some of your symptoms?
My primary symptoms are digestive issues. My nutrition is all crazy out of whack. I have had ascites as well. It has been more focused in my abdomen and my legs and ankles and feet. Um, and so I've been, had to deal with that, diuretics and all those kinds of things. Um, and yeah, those are sort of and I've developed osteoporosis because of the malnutrition um, that I'm experiencing. For me, it really is mostly diet and digestion related. It's kind of
Yeah,
destroyed my whole gastro system.
it's 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 torn up my. I mean, as they said about diuretics, water pills, water pills, water pills. That
Yeah,
helps me a lot with my ascites. And this was what 6 weeks ago we started talking about doing the podcast,
I think yeah, thereabout. That sounds
and
right.
we could have had it up and going in about a week, but then I ended up in the hospital for 4 weeks.
Right.
Once again with the fluid that's building up. I've been put under hospice care, but not oh my God, I'm going to die hospice care. Just they get me the supplies I need. They answer my questions. They get me to a doctor.
They help you
Uh,
navigate the screwed up, messed up, complicated health system that we have.
oh, exactly, exactly. And now I've been in the hospital in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, because they have put a tube in my back. So whenever I need to drain my back, and I know this sounds whatever, I can. They hospice sends me all the supplies that I need that I can drain when I need to drain, and the draining along with the diuretics, the oh god, the flexeril and the spirulactin, they have really helped a lot. That I don't have to whatever. It's taking my energy though. I try to get out of the house, but sometimes I just can't. Um, this happened started back in February, and I don't even drive by myself much anymore. If I'm
Mhm.
in town, I might take, the car and I'll go to the store or I'll go see a friend or something. But I was an Uber driver. I loved it. I would. I'm in Central Florida. I'm not going to give you the exact place, but I'm in Central Florida, and I would drive in Orlando. I would drive in Tampa. I would drive up towards the middle of the state to Ocala, Gainesville,
Yep.
all of that, and now I can't do that anymore. At one point, I went into a restaurant that I'd been into 100 times and lost my memory.
Yeah, that happens. The ammonia, the toxin buildup, it can cause what they call hydroencephaly, and it can get really bad.
Yeah, well, I've gotten like for the memory thing, I do lose my or forget what I'm going to say
Hmm.
occasionally, but there was nothing like that one day. And since I went into the hospital, the doctors helped me treat that. You know, they give me this real sticky stuff to drink that I just. It's not really bad flavor. It's just like maple syrup on steroids.
Yeah, lactulose. I'm on it.
Ah,
I'm on it. I
ah.
take it.
Oh God, I hate that stuff.
30
And
milliliters
so
3 times a day, buddy. 30 milliliters 3 times a day.
I'm happy today. Today I got accepted for Medicaid, and accepted with
Yes, I know.
Medicaid,
This is
that
such great news.
I can then move forward with trying to get a liver transplant. And it's also podcast day. Yay!
It's
So
it,
we're recording our first podcast on podcast day.
yeah, and it really is exciting, everybody, because Will really did just this afternoon. He called me and was like, or he actually texted me and said, "Hey, I'll get with you. I'm doing something right now, and I think it's going to end up being really good news." And when he called me, this is what he told me. And yes, it's fantastic. We've been tr- trying to figure out a way to get things moving for him, and yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. So, but also another little thing. I refer to Scott as my sobriety buddy. There's not really a buddy in the liver cirrhosis world that you can really sort of has a name like that. But Scott and I talk. What do we talk? Two, three times a day now,
Yeah, we text and phone chat, at least a couple times a day. Um,
and we'd love to be in the same studio in the same area doing the podcast. But I've got all my medical stuff where I'm at. He's got all his medical stuff where he's at. So we'll Facebook or we'll call and we'll discuss this, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss our issues. We'll discuss things that made us laugh during the day, and all of that, at least two, three times a day.
oh yeah, and we're fairly tangential people, so you guys
Yeah.
are going to be along for the ride because I'll guarantee you we are going to go off on tangents. It will happen.
Very much so. And just so y'all know, I am an extrovert, and I don't like interrupting people. I just think of new things and I want to say it, so I say it, and I end up cutting Scott off. I don't know. I've probably literally apologized to Scott for cutting him off at least 1,000 times. You know, and so there's also a comment section if you'd like to put the comment in there. Sign up for letting you know when the next episode will be.
Yeah, please
This is being
subscribe because when you subscribe, you will get email notifications whenever we post a new episode. So you'll be able to
yeah,
stay caught up and in the loop and everything.
and not all. And we are not doctors by any stage of the imagination.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Yeah, I mean, we are not doctors. We're not here to talk about diagnosis. We're not here to talk about, we're just simply talking about our experience, living life day to day now with what we have, working toward a transplant because we are both now, yay, finally, both working toward getting a transplant. And
And Scott, who was diagnosed after I was, is closer to it than I am,
about the
which
same
goes into a whole
about the same
which goes
time.
back into another episode we're going to do about the disparity of healthcare in this country.
Oh yes, yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode, and I'll guarantee you it'll weave in and out as a theme throughout the whole series because
And then
yes,
sometimes we may not discuss cirrhosis or liver disease or anything a whole lot at all.
right,
We may be talking about, hey, this happened this week, this cheered me up,
right,
or this
a really
happened, or
fantastic
that happened.
experience, or met somebody, or
Oh, yeah. But we
frankly, Will
want
and
to
I
hear from
will
you.
end up talking about music we're listening to and
Theater.
movies or shows, theater that we see.
Once an
Yes,
actor, so y'all know, just once an actor, we're always an actor.
pretty much.
You just don't go, today I'm not going to be an actor anymore.
No, pretty much
No.
doesn't work that way.
My mother was in her late 50s, went back to college, got her degree, and went into New York City. Performed for about 3 or 4 years in New York City, commercials, theater, all this, indie films, and all that. And then in her mid 60s, decided, okay, I'm going to retire now. And that's where I get it from. My mother was just when it came to the arts and the love, I inherited that. And in that, I have met incredible actors. Scott is a prime example.
Oh, we know,
But
we
we
know.
have,
Will and I are friends with some really, really wonderful, wonderful artists and frankly people. Some of the people that we know are just some of the better human beings on the planet. So,
oh, yeah, yeah. And I've noticed, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the nicer the person, the better the actor.
oh, absolutely.
So we have performed with people that have now won Tony Awards and all of that. Not that we brag about that, but to let you
No,
know
you
that
no, you don't do that.
that is part of our that's part of our that but they're part of our family.
Mm.
And one of them's dad, I won't mention names, but one of their dads was like our mentor
Was yes, one of our mentors. One
and
of
would
one
teach
of
us
the
underneath it.
frankly, fortunate enough to be just one of our mentors, honestly, because we had
Oh my God, yes.
multiples.
But if you've never been taught acting underneath a tree, you have not lived. And
Absolutely.
it didn't mean if you were just wanted to be an actor, if you wanted to be a painter or a sculptor or anything in the arts like that, he was always there to guide you and to show you and to answer your questions.
Yeah. He was an incredible
And
artist.
one of his children got accepted. I'll never forget this. One of his children got accepted to the American Academy in New York. And that's somewhere I had auditioned for and got accepted, just couldn't afford. So when his daughter came back from the American Academy, I asked her how it was, and she just looked at me and said, "It wasn't anything my dad didn't already teach us." You know, she said it was a waste of my money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we are actors. We will make jokes. We will cut up. We
We'll
will.
we'll probably rail on each other.
Oh my God, yes. But we want you. Scott's, as I said, Scott's more technical and knows a lot more technical facts than I do. But we both want you to be happy. We want you to look forward and go, hey, here's somebody that'll make me laugh. Here's something I can look forward to and not dwell on what's going on with me. Because there's nothing we can do about it. We can just be in this together and be.
Right. I mean, there's yeah, it's exactly. There's really nothing that we can do past what we can do, under a doctor's care, following the appropriate guidelines, all those kind of things, whatever, and then from that point, yes, you're kind of at the mercy of your body and biology and all those kinds of things. And so there's, I agree with you 1,000%. There's no sense in dwelling on the negative. I prefer to focus on positively getting through things and learning and growing and trying to become a better human being and a better person and um, you know, that's a process, frankly. And it's funny. I mean, for me, I feel like I'm in a real place of new discovery with that, and really trying to reconnect with myself, which is funny because it's not kind of a theme running through everything because Will and I are reconnecting, and um, it yes, it's something that we hope that we can just give a little bit of light and goodness and levity and just, camaraderie, family, so to speak. Um,
And we've been family for 40 years, even though we haven't really, seen each other.
exactly.
We
I
did
mean,
get we did do the occasional birthday, hey, how you doing,
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing, which is more than what I do with a lot of people that come across my Facebook. So,
yeah.
Scott, tell us about your story.
Well, it's kind of similar in that I uh, I got diagnosed really the beginning of this year. It was February, March. Um, I was actually in a run of a production of Inherit the Wind and was having a lot of difficulties with the run, and had been having difficulties for a while and decided finally, okay, it's just I have to go to the doctor and figure it out. Was not expecting them to come to me and say that I had cirrhosis. I was expecting them to come and tell me I had, I was lactose intolerant or had,
Uh,
celiac disease or some kind of.
let, let me interrupt you there since you're on that subject too. The way that I found out that what I had is I was laying on my bed eating a cracker, and I took one bite out of the cracker, and it felt like my stomach was a cinder block.
Hmm.
So these things could just pop up on you, and you should really go see your doctor.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's it's paying attention to these things, paying attention to your body. Um, my doctors have told me that I've caught it mildly early ish. Still I'm not progressed really very far. Um, so I feel very fortunate in that way. Um, and so yeah, and then got the cirrhosis diagnosis, and um, kind of for a few months, honestly, was seeing my gastro, and they had not yet referred me to a hepatologist or a transplant center. And then a few months into it, I guess it was probably about June, July, um, I had a little bit of a sodium blood pressure incident, and um, my MELD score. So everyone knows, and there are some of you who may know and some who don't. You're probably going to hear at least me and hear us refer to something called a MELD score, and it's an acronym. And what is it's the model for end stage liver disease, and it's a numeric number that they get from the blood work, values in the blood, that determines basically how sick you are, how uh, uh, far progressed the cirrhosis is, and how much it is continuing to progress. Because as you progress, the numbers will get worse. Um, and so my MELD score has been, it's higher than it obviously should be. It's into cirrhosis, but for cirrhosis was relatively low. And I was with diet and the diuretics and so forth. I've been able to kind of keep it in a fairly solid place. Well, in like June, July, it kind of spiked up, and I think my gastro decided that it was time to refer me to a transplant center and to a hepatologist. And so now I have been, and I've been accepted as a patient. Honestly, I just finished getting some paperwork in this this week, like day before yesterday, Monday. Um, I got the rest of the paperwork in that should now make it so that they will list me. So I should hopefully here in the next couple of weeks um, be getting placed onto the transplant list. Now, I'm probably going to wait a while before I actually get a transplant because, again, my MELD numbers have been relatively low. Um, Although the most recent round of blood work I've had did go up some. So, um, so yeah, and like Will said, I saw through social media that Will was battling the same thing, and I was like, wow, what are the chances? And honestly, it's for me, it's kind of a little, I don't know what the right word is, spooky or or uh, ironic, or I don't. It's not ironic. I don't know what, but anyway, how many sort of brushes connections to liver disease that I actually have. Um, First of all, my mother had cirrhosis and had a transplant. Um, and I have a really good friend that lives here locally where I live who 3 years ago had a transplant and is doing fantastic. And I have another friend besides Will that is also going through cirrhosis. And so it's kind of one of those things. And so, and the doctors have told me that genetics are the big culprit for me. That is, the big factor of how and why I've developed this is, my genetics. Yay. And seriously. And yeah, so I was going to say too, everybody, just a little bit of a sidebar, and we'll try to keep it as contained as we can here and there and stuff. But honestly, for real, liver disease is gross. It, you know, it's just what it does to you, what it does to your body. Uh, Everything about it is just gross. And so that's going to end up being part of the conversation. I know we're going to say gross stuff, and I guess we apologize a little bit in advance, but it be what it be. So yeah,
Part of
that's
the territory.
exactly. So that's a little bit of background, I guess, like how I came to be diagnosed. Like I said, it wasn't really expected at all. Even though my mother had had cirrhosis and so forth, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
really
it
one of
runs in
those.
my family too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suspect genetics are a big part of it for both of us. And I have to say for real, it's been a little, it's gone back and forth. When I first went to the transplant center, and my initial evaluation with the transplant center was a huge appointment. It was like 5 hours long, and just so much information and so much stuff. I spent probably at least 20 minutes, a half an hour with every member of my team, some of them longer. And my team, I mean, it is a team of people that are attending to me and this right now. I mean, there's two hepatologists, there's a surgeon, there's an anesthesiologist, there's a pharmacist, there's a nurse coordinator, there's a social worker, there's a physical therapist, there's a dietitian. I mean, it's really crazy. And I spent in that first appointment probably 20 minutes, a half an hour, like I said, with all of them minimum. Some of them even a little longer. The hepatologist was probably honestly closer to an hour. And yeah, and now like I said, I'm probably on the cusp of getting listed. They've been talking to me very seriously about a living donor, which is probably something that we'll talk about through the course of the show. Exactly what a living donor is and the difference between really a living donor and a deceased donor. I mean, obviously, you can just from the titles, you can probably kind of figure them out. And I'm sure we'll get into talking about like the transplant system and the way it works. Like I discovered this, like even with the folks that I had known that had dealt with this, I wasn't completely aware of how everything really works, and it's not as straightforward as people think. The transplant, the organ transplant list is not it's not like a big list of 10,000 people, and today I'm number 10,000 and tomorrow I'm number 9,999. It doesn't really work that way. It's a little more complicated. Things are much more geographic based. The organs they have a finite period of time they can be outside of a human body before they lose viability to be able to be transplanted. So there's sort of limitations that are inside of the system that drive really the way it works. And, we'll, I'm sure, talk about all of that stuff too, just because it's difficult to avoid as we're getting all into this. So, and I got to tell you, I share Will's same feeling about like, I hope that can, our conversations in some way can help some of you guys out there, if any of you are dealing with it yourself or have family or friends that are.
I also want to speak about the mental side of it real quick when
Oh,
you're done.
absolutely. I mean, that's frankly huge, is the mental health side of it all, because it's funny, it's a cliche. I mean, Will, it's a cliche. People say it, oh, looking at your own mortality changes your perspective, changes things. And yes, it's a cliche, but yeah, it's a cliche, I think, because for a reason, because it's kind of true. And yes, the notion of the fact that my body is without the proper care and assistance is sooner rather than later going to give out is psychologically a little crazy to deal with, and it
Oh,
takes some processing. So you're absolutely right. To we yes.
yeah, I suffer from ADHD, but was only re-diagnosed with that 2 years ago. I technically have dealt with it since I was 5.
And frankly
I've
probably
suffered
before
with
that too.
probably yes, but I suffered the depression. I handled it separately. The stress, the anxiety, I've handled it separately. The anger, the frustration, I've handled it separately. Now, after speaking to my psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever he may be, we put it all into one. I have one thing that helps me with everything except for focus. So if we're in the middle of a conversation and I go, "Oh, look, squirrel," then I've kind of jumped off my rocker there. But it is going to be depressing. It is going to hurt. And I'll let you on something a little personal. I had come home from the hospital last time, and 2 nights later, it was like a boulder that hit me on the head. I had never been so scared. I had never been so frightened. I immediately balled up in a ball and was crying. And I have a lovely group of angels around me, non medical support friends that are there 24/7. I called them. I told them, I sent them messages and I said, you don't need to call me tonight, but I am going to let you know what's going on. And then one of my sisters lives with me here, and bless her heart, she's a brilliant, smart woman. But I called her and told her what was going on, and she wasn't sure what to do. And then we talked for just a little moment, and then she realized, wait a minute, I'm his big sister. This is my job to be there to to maybe calm him,
Hmm.
to maybe, let him know that we're all here together. We're not going anywhere. And
Sometimes just having that person there, just
the
having somebody
friendship is
sit
a
next to you.
brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing with ADHD. They have a thing called body doubling.
Hmm.
And if someone is just there, they don't have to be doing what you're doing. They're just there with you, moves mountains.
Hmm.
You feel more comfortable, you feel more secure. But if anyone is starting to go through this or they believe they're going through this, no, it's going to be, you're going to get depressed because you're going to start thinking about everything. But if you surround yourself with the right people, the right animals, the right everybody, and you can decide if they're right for you. Can
Exactly.
you and you will make, that's why I say Scott now. He's my sobriety buddy. We talk 3, 4 times a day. I don't know where I would be right now if I had not called him when he asked me to 6 weeks ago. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, feel very the same way. I mean, there's a real, and I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know. I can't. It's difficult to make it really tangible. But y- yes, I feel the you know talking with you every day is supportive. Um, Honestly, even when I feel really positive, it's 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 just really supportive to still be able to connect with you and um to hear about what's happening and to have conversations about it. And
And listen to me apologize because I'm laid up in bed with 12 pillows behind my back
well,
and all of that. But I do also quickly want to add in there. There is a comment section on the Facebook page. You want to write and leave a comment anytime, 24/7. As soon as we get it, either Scott or I will reply back to you. If you leave an email address, I will reply back to that email address, or Scott will, you know, so you know that you're not alone. It's not one of these things where, oh, look, someone else. No, because I was given the support by my friends, longtime friends, and all of that, that I give back to the world what was given me. So remember that. If you want to leave a comment or if there's something on your mind that may be bothering you, or you have a question about treatment or what you should look for, by all means, leave a comment and we will get back to you almost as quickly as we can. I say almost. I'm on a lot of heavy meds, dude. You know,
yeah.
sometimes I just lay out here and I go, wow, ceiling fan. But no, we'll get back to you as soon as possible because we want you to know that you're not alone. And Scott is laughing and smiling here. And that's the kind of thing we want to bring to your face, as well as help you get through what you're going through.
Yeah, I mean, it is very much you know uh, it is just connecting in a very human and honest and personal kind of way. And it's funny, Will and I, we just sort of naturally do this, the two of us. And really, truthfully, I don't know that it's necessarily just with each other. I think Will and I probably do this kind of just in life, but then with each other, even more so.
It doesn't
Or
hurt to be kind. It doesn't hurt to, and I'm not an overly religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person.
yes, me too.
And in the Bible, it says, Matthew 25, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I needed shoes, you gave me shoes. And they said, well, Father, when was that? And he said, what you do to the least of my children, you do unto me. If I've got food, I'm going to share food. If I have two shirts, I'll give you one shirt. If I have one shirt, I'll probably give you that one shirt. That's the way to me that life deserves to be lived. Continue on. Sorry for interrupting you.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'm very much a person that believes that, and work very hard at trying to live my life, putting into the world what I'd like to get back out. It doesn't always work,
Oh no.
but
But see, sometimes that's not necessarily up to you.
right.
You're doing what you need to do. Whereas other people are like, that's my food. That's my clothes. That's my. What's it going to do you? I got more clothes. I don't usually, wear a huge wardrobe, but I'm a jeans and t shirt kind of guy. I got God knows how many pairs of jeans, how many pairs of t shirts. I got my green Converse sneakers, other than fine dining reservations. I wear my green Converse everywhere. I've got clothes to put on people's back. I've got a roof over my head. I've got some food in my mouth that I can share with other people.
That's gross,
You
dude.
know what? My food.
Um, no, it's yeah. I feel very much in the same vein that and for me, it even goes beyond just logistical, physical things. It sort of moves into the I don't know what the right word is. The metaphysical or the philosophical. It moves into um, just uh, emotional support and having a little empathy and appreciating um, what somebody else is going through. And
Oh yeah, my
it's
mom always called that home training.
yeah. And it's one of the things I say right now. I mean, in the crazy freaking world that we're living in right now, I say frankly all the time, a little empathy can go a long way. Um, and I work really hard at that, and I recognize I can work harder. I have, you know, m- way further to go in my life. I've not even begun to scratch the surface of really what's possible or where I should be or however you want to put it. But
And even going through what we're going through, that is our primary thought.
yes, I mean, certainly, I mean, frankly, I guess back to that a little bit. You're absolutely right, Will. I mean, my entire existence now kind of really revolves around.
Well, you have true obligations, and I'm not going to go into what I think true obligations are. And you take care of those obligations that you absolutely have to take care of. But then it doesn't become about you. It becomes about, hey, what can we do for others?
Exactly.
What advice can we give to help them?
And
Maybe not, and I hate using the word mope.
how can I just live so that others can see in my actions that I'm working. I'm as as Jules put it in Pulp Fiction, you know, I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's the thing is it is really hard. It is really hard to live life in that kind of way. It takes work and many times is exhausting. And,
But you keep doing it.
right. Well, and I see why we get tired, we as human beings, but it ends up being worth it. I think it's always kind of felt like it to me, you know, and like I said, I am in this period of growth and and stuff that I'm in right now. And it's weird because, I've said this to people. It's a strange kind of dichotomy to be in. You probably find this a little bit too, Will. Uh, uh, my body is failing.
Oh
It's
yeah,
you know, but my perspective is actually growing. Um, I feel like it's, I'm working at trying to be more empathetic. I'm working at trying to not be as reactive. I'm working at trying to be more engaged and be more responsive. And, you know, there's a book I read recently and it had a line in it that was talking about if you've let friendship, and this sort of ties us together a little bit with our theme of this episode, which is reconnecting. You know, through the years, if you've let friendships falter, unfalter them.
exactly.
And I feel like I'm in that real place right now where I'm trying to go back through my life, and people that I have neglected or lost touch with or what have you through the years, really work at reconnecting that.
Well,
And
see, I get the opposite. I'll go through and go, why did I friend them in the first place? I didn't like them in high school. I didn't like them in elementary. I didn't like them in college. Why am I friending them now? You know what
well,
I'm
and
saying? And I
yeah,
hate
I
that.
feel you there, and
I
I
hate that because I sit there and I look it over going, why did I friend them? My best friend when I was in elementary school was the coolest kid around. He was being raised by his mom. We got in trouble together. If one of us got in trouble, we both got in trouble, that sort of thing. And now he is a raging racist, homophobic biker.
oh, perfectly normal.
Well, I don't know. I haven't talked to him, and I don't. I think he kind of blocked me on Facebook. Though we didn't part when we were talking on Facebook about, we weren't angry with each other.
Right, wasn't
But
like you were in some heated political
no,
discussion or whatever.
now I'm straight, but I am a huge LGBTQ ally. You
Absolutely,
know,
100%. Me
and
too.
I am always posting things on my, like when unfortunately the Pulse massacre happened in Orlando. Here people I worked with at Disney and Universal for years, could they have been there that night?
Right.
And I think it was something that I posted like that, and he wrote me back this just rudest letter and all of that, and I'm like, Keith, we were best friends, man. I've not done anything to you. Yeah,
Right,
but this
right. Well,
shit
and you
shows
didn't
up
you
on
didn't
my
prompt
page,
that
and
at
you need
all.
to.
I mean, you posting that on Facebook is not asking for him to come attacking you. I mean, you're just sort of
Yeah,
saying,
so then I go back, and there's loads of people from like college. I just want to go thump, 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 thump. I got one good. I've got one. I got a couple of fraternity brothers from college. One of them's a big old liberal redneck, and every Georgia football game, we're always texting each other all through the day because his first wife, God rest her soul, was an Auburn fan, and I never met her.
uh-huh.
Apparently, she was from LaGrange where he went to college, but I never met her. And one day he messaged me. He goes, "Rhonda said I had to friend you on Facebook." And I'm like, "Well, why did Rhonda say?" "Because she likes you. She thinks you're a great guy." And she was a big Auburn fan. So they used to have a Christmas thing that for everyone the Georgia Auburn game got to decorate the Christmas tree.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So now Bill and I have been, no matter Bill's one of those attitudes about, listen, I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work. I ain't got time to be, taking somebody else's whatever on. So I know that was kind of a wobbly, off the point thing, people, but that's the way it was right there.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, may as well get used to that cuz
But yeah, but no, but I am the complete opposite because I will sit there and go, why are you even showing up on my Facebook? You know? And then there's some I'm like, I friended because I went to college for them, and then something will happen, like a death in my family or something, and they will write me the longest, most compassionate letter
Mm-hmm.
or comment. And these are people I really didn't get along with in college, but now, we're grown up, we're adults,
Right.
we're not kids anymore. So then I have to go back and thank them for the letter and talk to them, and then I don't have a problem. But just some that have their heads up their butts, they're never mind.
Yeah, and I guess I'm mainly talking about folks that I was close with really at some point in my life, and for whatever reason, let it go and let it falter, let it dissipate.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Sorry.
um and for me, that process, because I agree with you about the random people. I mean, there are people that I've somehow kind of started to reconnect with, and then realized after reconnecting with them, like, oh, this is not the person I remember them being at all
Oh,
necessarily. So,
exactly, exactly.
and so, there's definitely that, but it's one of those really goofy things for me to be in such a period of personal reconnection while at the same time, dealing with such physical extremes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
But yeah, I feel that you and I, it's kind of kismet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Us finding each other.
there's a reason. There's a reason that we reconnected.
Yes, and some of it is about this very thing. It's a little meta here. This thing we're doing right now is, I do feel compelled to, like you, to do. It's like,
I'm excited.
yeah, it's about, again, connection and y- uh, the need, the feeling to give to the world, and to know that because I know that I mean, as this progresses, I'm going to need lots of stuff. I, like you, pardon. Um, I, like you, see, there it is. Liver disease, gotta love it. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Think about it. Take deep breaths.
um, yeah, I mean, I burped. I don't know if everybody heard it. It sounded to me like it was on camera, so that's why I was like, oh,
Oh, so you think that's what you got from me?
yeah,
Of all the weeks of talking, you got the burping from me. There you
I
go.
got to burping. But I, like you, have a community, have like a group of people around me that are going to be there for me in a very difficult time, because, I mean, we haven't talked about this yet at all, but the logistics of an organ transplant, of a liver transplant, are, fairly big. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like an outpatient thing. It's
yeah,
you're in the hospital a good 10, 12, 15 days, 2 or 3 days in the ICU, you know, probably another month or 6 weeks at home with, like, no driving and no work at all, then maybe a little bit back to work depending on your job and whatever. I'm very fortunate, I work in media production, so I'm a director. I sit at a video switcher a lot, so it's and I'm a graphic artist, so I sit at a computer. I feel pretty fortunate that I'm, probably going to be able to do work through some of my recovery. But, we're probably talking a good 2-3 months of life
oh
being
yeah,
seriously affected by just the physical invasion of the surgery. You know, the scar Will and I are going to have is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Frankenstein's scar. You know, it's serious.
Yeah, but I kind of also look at that. You know,
I honestly,
we're getting up in age, so you know
hey, speak
we
for
could write
yourself.
that. Well, we could write that off as like, you want to see my war scar?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that
mean,
happened when I was fighting in the first Gulf War in the early '90s, right there.
right.
See it? Yeah, I was fighting 5 Afghanis at one time, man.
Yeah,
It was
it's
crazy,
crazy.
but I survived, and I took them all out.
Yeah, nobody's gonna believe that shit about me. Not a
No, they're not
fucking
gonna
word
believe
of
that shit
that.
about me either.
um,
They're not gonna believe that about me either. But it's worth the try. See?
right, right. Yeah, honestly, the scar is one of those things that I have to say. Yes, it's once I'm through everything and through the surgery and liver's good and it's all good and everything, the scar
And
is
there's
going to be
still
one of those
20
things.
million pills a day.
Exactly. The scar is one of those things that honestly I'm probably going to be kind of proud of. You know, I'll be willing to show. You know, I'll be willing to lift
Yeah,
my shirt and show people. Be like, yeah, see.
that big cut down the right side of your body,
Well,
or
it's
depending on how
almost
they're
like a
gonna go in.
star. You know, like it's like a
Oh, is it?
yeah. It starts sort of like just under your sternum. It'll go down to like the center of your abdomen, and then just above your belly button, it'll branch out into a Y, and then go to your hips.
Oh, see, I told you he was the technical guys.
Yeah.
He's the technical man. Me, I got a rock.
But it's a
So they're
pretty
gonna
rock.
open me up. That's how they're gonna cut me open. They're gonna sharpen a rock and go, "Ooga hoonga huh,
Prank, prank,
say
prank, prank. Yeah.
exactly, say cut here."
It is you know, it's one of those crazy. I mean, because it's like they have to, they basically flap us open, and you know, so they can get in and out, and our liver and surgery is, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours, and yeah, so the actual physical surgery itself, honestly, that was for me. That was probably, you know, a day, 2, 3, maybe even processing that, you know, just dealing with it intellectually first and then dealing with it emotionally, kind of dealing with wrapping my head around, you know, what's going to end up happening. Well, anyway, you know, I think
I think we've done pretty good for our first episode.
we've talked about quite a bit, and you know, we're probably going to think about 50 other things, and which is why it's a series, and you know,
And we would love to hear what y'all think that you would like to hear.
yes, how we can focus our conversation, things you'd like to hear us talk about, and you know, it's really exciting to be able to share this with you guys. It's um, because it's certainly interesting and different, and affects a lot of different things that you don't even really realize. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
I
Please,
do want to say something real quick.
oh, please do.
This is our first episode, and we weren't sure or whatever. But y'all brought out the talkie in us, and we have gone an hour on our first podcast, which is awesome. And we're very, very appreciative of that. Thank you, each and every one. Now, next time we do an episode, which hopefully will be about a week or so, uh, I'm not going to be so formal. Y'all are going to be part of the family. And I'm just going to call you out, bro. Yeah, bro. You know? So
Yeah.
there you go. Just know that now you're part of the family because you listened to the first episode, and Scott and I can't wait to have you back.
Yes. Please keep coming back. You know, we're just gonna keep talking and talking about what we're dealing with and talking about our perspective and That's really all we have is our perspective. So we're excited about it, and we're thrilled to have you guys with us, and look forward to next time. What are we going to talk about next time?
I don't know if we've completely decided that
I don't
yet.
know if we've decided that yet either. We have a couple of options that we've could consider, but
We
I
are.
don't.
If anybody out there has a suggestion, send it too.
Oh, absolutely. Um, but we'll certainly be talking more about our experience with healthcare.
Almost definitely.
Frankly, Will's situation that he's been dealing with over the past month, 6 weeks alone. Honestly, I feel like we could have multiple hours of conversation about. Um, and So, yes, thank you for joining us. And we look forward to continuing our conversation.
And we will leave you with this quote by the great American poet Somebody. I cried because I had no shoes till I met a man who had no feet.
Mm,
Think about it.
indeed. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.